This is the Brilliantly Branded podcast, a safe place to have a voice and talk about branding and all the reasons that bring a brand to be brilliantly branded. I am your host, Maria Lucia Romero, a woman empowering other women, and I am welcoming you to this journey of learning and inspiration to build awareness around the world of business and the world of brands. This is the Brilliantly Branded podcast. I have just had a conversation that I am wanting to share with you. In our episode today, we explore the world of sustainability with a business leader behind. We got the founder of not one, but two remarkable brands, Luloop and Vytal. She is Cheryl, who shared with us the true story behind a woman with a deep commitment to conscious consumption. Cheryl has taken a commitment on the challenge of educating and inspiring change through brands that carry a powerful mission, reducing packaging waste by promoting the reuse of cups and various containers. Her grit and determination taking us through the challenges she's faced as a woman in the business world, and definitely this is a story to hear. So, if you are sipping on your favorite cup of coffee or tea, settle in, because this conversation is a journey into the mind and heart of a leader in sustainability that resonates with anyone who ever dared to dream big and make a meaningful impact on our planet. So welcome one more time to the Brilliantly Branded podcast. Hello and welcome to another weekly episode of the Brilliantly Branded podcast. For me, it's super important to mention that our mission for all the new listeners that every day have been arriving to the part of this community. So our mission is to amplify the voices of those incredible women who have not just created their brands, but have forged their path in the business world. We are, of course, committed to showcasing the real stories behind the successful business led by women. So every week, we bring you the first-hand account of these entrepreneurs. And this time, I want to introduce you a guest that she is an entrepreneur. She is the founder of a brand that is towards sustainability. She's going to talk us a little bit more about that, but actually something that took my attention, and I think that she have a lot of things to deliver and share with us her journey and her experience as a woman founder in the business world. So Cheryl, welcome to the Brilliantly Branded podcast. And the first things, please could you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your journey as the founder of Luloop?
Hi, Maria, and hi, everybody else that is listening. So, first, thank you very much that I can be here today. Indeed, there's a lot to say about all these topics, so I'm very thankful that you actually took that a bit in your hands and really spread the word. Indeed, Cheryl, founder of Luloop and also now founder of Vytal, Luxembourg. At the beginning, we wanted to talk a bit about Luloop, so let's start there, how the journey actually started here with the business. Basically, we are two founders, so not only me, but my very good partner, Kevin, too. And we kind of share already very long our life together and saw some situations just that we really didn't like. For example, just very, very big trash amounts. And being born actually here in Luxembourg, like living close to the forest, that was always something that really kept on my heart to really protect it. And so actually after traveling a little bit around in the world, we came back to Luxembourg, like back home, and we just saw, okay, some things we actually really miss, like, for example, very simple solutions for single-use packaging. And as I would say about myself, I'm not a complete typical businesswoman. I guess I will never be, and that's also fine like that. I feel a bit more like kind of a mixture of business and activism. We try just to mix both because I think actually both should go hand in hand. And we launched Luloop as a very simple reuse system for coffee cups and tea cups. that work basically in the whole country. So point was always, how can we collaborate actually to reach our strength and really live a potential that is available but never is accessible on our own. And so that's why the system actually works in the whole country. And indeed, Luloop is basically a circular project. And as circularity is not only concerning Luxembourg by now, but really Europe, the globe, and everywhere, we went the second step and launched then Vytal Luxembourg, which is then indeed a collaboration between different European companies, so that actually the whole system works in all Europe and by now all around the globe. So Vytal is by now the biggest global reuse system available, on what we are very proud. So tiny Luxembourg is connected to the world. Yeah, that's a little bit in short story what happened the last 2-3 years. And yeah, I guess we come still a bit closer to these things. But yeah, it was quite an adventure, a roller coaster of emotions, I have to say. But until now, a beautiful one. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned something very interesting, and you said, I am not a woman business, but I am an activist and an entrepreneur. And I think that that is something that I will love you to explain a little bit better. Because, it's yeah, probably a businesswoman is something very unapproachable in the way that you have a strong reason why you are doing what you are doing. But can you tell us a little bit more about that, and probably what have been the challenges that you have been facing during this process?
Basically, at the end of the day, I should not even mention categories. I mean, that's a little bit the stereotype we actually want to get rid of, right? Like all these categories where we should or expect to fit inside. And I think it's a very difficult thing to do at the beginning when we launched all this. I mean, like I say, Kevin and I, we were little nomads living in communities and in social projects and in permaculture projects on the world. So we came back and I was really not at all into this wearing a suit and being like having makeup and all that stuff. I was really just on the same in the way of, I do my cosmetics myself. I'm just using these 5 ingredients kind of style. So no, I should really keep like saying these categories. But yeah, it is really this picture that is kind of expected of us to come in maybe even high heels and have your hair a certain way and be presented in a certain way, because only then you seem credible. And I mean, that is really something I just don't want to have anymore. Like, it's really by now, okay, we are creators at the end of the day. Everybody is creating something where he sees a sense in it, an opportunity, a passion, a love, or a need. So whatever, we are who we are and we just do what we want. And that is really something, I think, where we have to be strong enough to not lose ourselves really in something, as indeed mentioned, to fulfill this expectation of a certain cliche image like that we have to bring with. I think that's very difficult for a lot of women, because some are just not like that and don't want to be like that. And it's just nice because we are all just a mixture of like individuals. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that is something that we all need to keep in mind, and is the way that we see the world and how we stereotype, as you well said, women in business. And I wanted to ask you something related with gender, but actually, do you think that have you noticed any specific ways in which your gender has influenced the development of your business, especially in the areas that you are managing?
Yes, yeah, I do. I mean, I do, and I think I even use it. I mean, as women, we have certain possibilities to use. We are emotional, we are empathic. That's often how we actually also lead our business and our team. Actually, indeed, with a lot of mother care, kind of sometimes. Um, on the other side, it also feels like if I arrive on a place, I often have first to prove myself as a woman that I'm capable, that I'm not now just like emotional, but I'm also rational. I can organize, I can manage. I'm not like, yeah, I just don't want to be judged like that, but I need to prove me, because it's happening nearly automatically. I mean, even people, they don't want to judge and it's still happening. We are so influenced by that. On the other side, sometimes it feels like you would get opportunities, but turns out to actually that were no business opportunities, but they expected something else of you. I mean, there we spoke already once about it. I think that's also a topic where we still come later on it. So yeah, it can help, and it also can stand in the way. Like, it's really, I have very strong the feeling that often I first have to prove myself to not be like unorganized or unmanaged before indeed actually the second part of the business really comes in.
Yeah, that is not very nice to hear, and the reason why I say that is not very nice is because we don't need to prove anything. We have capacities, same capacities in all genders, so we don't need to prove that we are capable to do many things. And this is part of the things that our society now are doing to try to us to demonstrate that we are good when it's not necessary. Actually, we are showing that we are good already with the actions, creating companies with a mission. That is the one that you have, that is very important for me now, for you to talk a little bit about the Luloop mission. What is the mission of your company right now? What inspired you to be focused in this sustainability, and how really you become with that idea?
The mission, I think the very, very grand line mission is really to show people we all have power. Like, we all have power to change. We have the impact. We are really the majority of the population. So why are we not putting us together and doing something? It's not about complaining. It's not about feeling so small against the big world problems. It's about indeed taking the little trouble in your hands and doing just what you personally can do. I mean, everybody in itself. Last time, just a very stupid example, but last time I went to the shop and there was like somebody in front of me who was buying like many shampoo and soap bottles and cosmetics, like really literally a whole thing full. And I was just standing there and I was thinking by myself, like, if only that one person would now change a little bit this buying and consumption style and maybe just use indeed soap bars or indeed homemade soap, what is super easy to do, it would have so much effect. And that was now just one shopping going that person made. So indeed, if we just relate that to each other and we see how actually each of us could just by very simple changes really change already something and have in the bigger picture like a huge influence. I think that's really why, I mean, a cup is something tiny, but still in its just enormous appearance, it's huge. So I think that's a little bit the base idea. And then indeed there comes the second idea, of course, with this, okay, let's work together so that we actually really come to a point, and not that, I mean, all this concurrence thinking is really, like, in our eyes, such a really old concept. It's not anymore, okay, the market some kind needs concurrence, as they say, because indeed, like, can be dangerous if somebody has the monopoly, but depends also again about the intention that specific company has then maybe. But yeah, it's really this, okay, we are small people, we have the power, and secondly, okay, let's work together to actually really live that power and potential, and just change as we think it's good. Sounds sometimes a bit utopic, but actually at the end of the day, it's quite realizable. So yeah.
No, yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the conscience of consumption is something that we are not capable to, I don't know why, understand yet, because I see the same. I see the same, and I have been seeing that probably we are not conscious about that impact that we can do, even if we do small things, because that is the thing, we probably, and I am saying we because I'm a part of that, and of course speaking from myself, sometimes we are not making conscience about this consumption that really is causing the problem and bringing a lot of things to consideration. But I'm wondering if part of the thing is the lack of communication and understanding from people about how to do certain things, how to consume. But of course, what is obvious for me is not obvious for everyone around. So that is actually the point, that we need to be focused in education still today in order to generate aware about how the people are having this consumption. So
Indeed,
part of
it's
yeah.
sorry. It's also misinformation because, like, I mean, all recycling ID, yes, recycling exists and is already in Luxembourg quite lived and well organized. But also there, how many people are actually still believing that a pizza box out of carton or paper is recyclable? Like, yes, partly it might be, but all the parts where oils are on, forget it, no chance to recycle. So sometimes indeed we also collect information to some kind of gentle our conscious that we are actually doing something, but we don't invest enough still to read about it and to go inform us about it. So yeah, absolutely, as you say, it's missing information and then a lack of education to already the youngest, actually, how to establish a new system that is just on time, much more durable.
Yeah, in order to make the audience understand your brand and understand how that works, because actually you are working with packaging that is a very important impact in the planet. So, can you explain us how that works and how Lulup have been creating this dynamic around that?
So indeed, Luloop, as explained before, was a reuse system for cups. By now, we specialize with Luloop on another concept. So basically, now Luloop is a system for closed buildings, as for example, office buildings or public institutions. And they have like kitchenettes and coffee corners and water dispensers. And I mean, I also didn't know it. We just figured it out in the last months. Like, it's enormous also intern in building how many single-use cups are actually used. So now we are working with one building from the ministry that works very well. We give them like on different stations, we have distributions of cups and collections of cups, so that actually the visitor and the employee just is drinking and serving himself with the coffee and the cup, and afterwards throws it into a collector. And our team comes on place then once, twice per week to make the full service. So basically we come bringing new cups, we clean the dirty ones, we empty the collectors, to really also intern, even though, for example, in Lux, laws changed and these buildings are actually not concerned about the law, but they really do this now out of motivation and because they actually have understanding that we need to change in a direction. What is just really amazing to give this example. And indeed, it's really also in this building where a lot of external people are coming to learn. It's just very nice you can give a message. Now, the second company, so Vytal Luxembourg, is basically a real system for daily life. So really for canteens, restaurants, and then events. And it basically works in the way that you download the app, like for free, you register there as end user, what's all for free, and you can borrow then different kinds of a cup, a pizza box, a burger box, like bowls, and you can use them 2 weeks for free. And then in the moment, like after your 2 weeks, you return them at any partner in Luxembourg, or you return them to Germany, to France, to Belgium, to Holland, like up to Mexico, actually. We had now our first bowl taken in Germany and returned in Mexico. And you basically use the same app in all these countries to use for free and reuse your packaging. And then the third concept is then really specialized on events. So basically there we have then our own portfolio where we are working now with, what is it? Yeah, 25 municipalities here in country for like, yeah, then specific dates on events where they choose like plates or bowls or cutlery. And also their same principle, we bring it, they use it, we take it back, clean it, to also always have like a really high standard of hygiene. And that's it basically. So by now we can say, yeah, quite proudly that we saved like a few thousands of packaging, what is very nice. And now with Vital, that's really now the big new step. I mean, to connect these different countries under each other, especially as Luxembourg has so many people every day traveling from left to right. It's just super important to include really also everybody and to make such a real system just so flexible to make it convenient.
Yeah, well, thank you for this opportunity for us to really get in easy access to generate that conscience and to do the things in a different way. So for individuals, they can download the app, and for companies, they can contact you directly to do all the process and to start to include that process inside of the corporate studies is probably something and a way that we are going to start generating that impact. But one of my question is, how are you communicating that outside, because this is including a part of education as well, changing of behaviors of people, because we are used that we are going to pick up a lunch and this lunch is coming in a box that we don't need to return. So how are you educating the people around? I mean, I think this is one of your biggest challenges, but I don't know.
It really is. I mean, actually, I think now we do this in the third year. And I think talking is really my biggest thing I do, like 90% of the time. And what is really important during this transition, because indeed we expect to actually completely have a new consumption, and we need to guide people actually in a way that they also have fun on this, because when they are not motivated, then they will not do it. So for example, this evening now we are regularly like organizing with municipalities meetings. So tonight, for example, is then in Differdange, a big meeting with all the clubs and with everybody that is like linked to events, and we're actually presenting one time the laws, what is happening already right now from January 23 on, what is going to happen from January 25 on, to really explain. And then not just the law, because that's always seeming a little bit false. No, we really want to explain why we actually do this. So, and then we give information. Honestly, the marketing is not the strongest. That's something
You can improve. You can improve.
absolutely we can improve. But now also with Vital as digital solution, but what is there really nice is just that we really have all the analytics of the data. So also there are companies that are participating, they can share on their website a live tracker on how many packagings they avoided to get different certificates. So it's really now, also with the digital, with the data, that it's just much, much easier to also share, okay, how much and where could we save what, also now for events. But yeah, we really hope also from the public side that there just comes still much more communication, and that it's really presented as a new standard and not just like something that somehow runs sideways.
Yeah, correct. And part of the things and the reasons why you arrived to that, I think is part of your personality. So I don't know if you would like to share with us a little bit more. I mean, you already said I am a consumption of shampoo and these kind of things natural, and all these initiatives that is really making who you are. I mean, this is your personal brand, to say it in that way. But part of the thing is how you can probably share with all the listeners that wanted to build their brands, that wanted to start their business, and as a woman, of course, what will be your advice to all these women that are now listening to us?
Stay true to yourself. Maybe one of the hardest challenges in all this. Continue believing in yourself. I mean, there will come a lot of downs, there will come a lot of ups, which are absolutely fantastic and which give you actually the courage to go on. But as long as you really do for what you stand for, you cannot really go wrong. So, I mean, okay, of course, rationality is very, very big part of all this business life. So yes, not too fast decisions. And especially as women, as I made some experiences with men investors or so, where they were promising a lot and afterwards not returning, but actually were expecting something else. Don't believe in every hope, like there's a lot of false hope out. So indeed, make your way, stay strong. and just sometimes, like, I mean, sit in the window in the evening and breathe very hard through to actually handle it all, and then go on because you just know that it's the right thing to do.
Well, it's impressive how every time when I'm bringing all those women like you that have been showing how they have been building their companies, their brands, and all the up and downs that they have been passing for, it is amazing to realize how we have this strength that and determination that make us go where we want to go, and as well, this is something that I realize that sometimes we, even between women, are not realizing that. We are not knowing the power that we have to do many things that really can transform the world. As simple as that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're completely right. And sometimes I really feel like women are nearly indestructible. Like, really, I think we got suppressed, and still, okay, now where we live, we are very, very lucky still as women, even though there's still a lot of unequal situations. But now, compared to other cultures or countries, we are standing already in a very good legal situation. But still, we got so suppressed, like during many years, we could not choose freely. We were forced to just be a housewoman or whatever. We could not do certain jobs or sports or cultures. So I think we just had to be very strong. And that is something I think that just still lying in our genes, to really be little fighters, like, and fighters in a very nice way, because indeed, why? Because we put all this emotion still in it, and this care for our surrounding and our beloved ones, or our team. So yeah, I think that's a very good combination of this heartwarming, and on the other side of this, okay, we bite into something and we just pull it through. Like, so yeah, that's this good that's this combination which makes us quite durable. Yeah.
Yeah, and another question that come to mind is you mentioned that have been probably raising funds for your company. Have you had any issues or challenges for you in the process of raising funds?
Yeah, I mean, raising funds is really an adventure in itself, let's say.
Oh, Jesus.
It's an art nearly. I mean, and especially, like I say, but first of all, women are having quite little chances to actually get funds. I mean, there are by now very studies about, and a lot of trying going against this and doing it better. But the real fact is just that women get relatively little funds compared now to men. Without want to make again this gender separation, but it's just the fact. And I met we had two such situations basically, where indeed they were promising a lot and help and here and there, and afterwards turning out to go in a way too personal, really, absolutely, things that are just not appropriate anymore. And that was for me very fast clear, okay, this is where it ends, because I actually want to have a serious business relation and build up on the next years of this. And I'm definitely not writing any mails that go out of business. So yeah, no, I mean, and so my partner, we share such mails then, and I show him that also to be like, okay, you see what actually sometimes women are reading, and so for him that is something he said, okay, he never got any kind of such a mail, right? And that's really all this. Why are you then promising women money and support, to get them in bed? Sorry to say, I mean, like, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's really going in a direction that is so unprofessional, and that is really something where I was like, okay, uh, there, I think as women, you just still have to be more careful with raising funds, like out of, are they really interested in your business, or are they interested in a personal relation with you? So,
Mm.
well,
Okay. Yeah, this is could be misinterpreted, and this is not what we are looking when we are running a business and going to raising funds. But based on that and that experience that you had, could you advise other women that are wanted to go to raise funds in some way right now?
I mean, what I did was always trying to inform me really about these people before. What I unfortunately made the experience that it's not always easy to find these people, because I mean, mostly people have LinkedIn or something, but a lot of people that actually want to put money in your company, they don't have LinkedIn and they don't have a website. So indeed, like, how do you want to prove that all? So I just think, okay, be careful and don't get too overexcited just by the first smell of money. Like, money is not everything. Okay, it maybe helps your company grow, but always consider, okay, what are the consequences of taking this money? Like, is it really what I am expecting? Because I want a person that really believes in this project and really does this out of a rational sense and a professional sense. Or is this now a person where after, like, now next or 2 years, I will have very much personal pressure because they just expect something else? So yeah, I think it's very, very crucial of who you actually take the money. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's building actually a trust relationship with all those investors or possible investors that are coming to be part of your company first. Second, your network needs to be coming from a trustly source. I mean, it's not just somebody that offered to you money to your company. Well, what is the person behind that? And
Yes.
which is the safe environment that you actually create when you present your company to investors. So I
And this
think
is
it's,
I'm sorry. This is
yeah.
now not just as women as like a personal relation or so, but also afterwards, indeed, which political intentions does this investor have? Like, it should really fit to each other, right? To actually start a project like that.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, that is true. And Cheryl, where the people can find you, can find your brands, even people, all these people that can download the app, all these investors interested in investing in projects related with sustainability and making a big impact, where are they contacting you?
Basically now, indeed, for Luloop and Vytal, their websites. So one time luloop.lu and one time Vytal.lu. And of course, everybody that wants starting reusing, Vytal is findable already with some partners here in Luxembourg. So everybody, for example, that loves the burgers from Let's Burger, it's findable on the 5 addresses they have. It's also soon findable again in Glow and in Onda. So slowly it's really building up. And the app you just can actually download then for free in the Apple Store, on the Google Play Store, and you just can register and start.
Yeah, well, thank you for all this beautiful labor that you are doing, because having a reason to exist and putting the purpose behind a brand is what is really making changes in the world. So thank you very much, Cheryl. I don't know if you want to add something else, some special message for all those listeners of the podcast.
No, thank you, Maria. Really, it's always again very nice to speak to you. And I just hope that they're finding really human to have courage to do what they want. Like, don't let you suppress, like, just go straight through it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you are completely right. Thank you
I
for
didn't
all.
know it.
Correct. Well, thank you very much. And thank you for being here, sharing these things with us in the Brilliantly Branded podcast.
Thank you. Bye bye.
We hope you have been inspired by this content and join us for future episodes of the Brilliantly Branded podcast. We will continue exploring the power of branding and the stories behind successful brands. And remember, if you know a woman who has built a successful brand with a unique approach and a story to share, please refer them to our podcast. We would love to learn from their experiences and share their story with our listeners. Stay tuned for more episodes of Brilliantly Branded, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, on our YouTube channel for more branding insights and women empowerment. Until the next episode, ciao ciao.